And here we go on our Wednesday edition of the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. Each of us coming up with a reason why the Browns will and won't make the playoffs. I'm going to get so confused by this. I'm not going to know where we're at because we're going to try and alternate this. So Ashley, you go first. Why do you think the Browns will still make the playoffs?
I'm pinning a lot on one person here, but I do think Kareem Hunt is this important to the offense that he deserves it. I think the fact that Kareem Hunt is expected to be back, and he's expected, as from talking to Kay Cabot earlier today, he's expecting he's going to be back this week. He's very hopeful that could happen against the Ravens. And we've been hammering home on this podcast that these two games against the Ravens are so vitally important. I think he's a safety valve for Baker Mayfield in a lot of ways, which again, we've talked about fairly recently here in the pass game. He's so lethal there. And obviously on the ground, he gives you a little bit of a different look, especially in some of those 4th and 1, 4th and short situations that they've really been struggling with lately. I think the offense changes drastically with him in there. We haven't seen him in so many weeks now that, I think maybe he might need some ramping up once he's actually in there, but I do think he adds so much that he's really vitally important for what they're trying to do long-term this season.
So Kay, we're recording this on Tuesday. You actually talked to Kareem Hunt today at the Feed the Need event at Town Hall. So did you come away from that feeling like Kareem's going to play on Sunday? Yeah, you're showing us the shirt here on the Zoom.
Wearing my Feed the Need t-shirt. Yes, I came away from my interview with Kareem Hunt today, and I really appreciated him taking the time to do that. That was really cool of him. Take a few minutes out from feeding the needy families that came to Town Hall today. But he spent a few minutes with me. Very nice of him. And he sounded really positive about trying to play on Sunday. He made no promises because he has to go out there and practice, but I think that he's going to play on Sunday. He says he feels really good. One of his quotes was that, I'm going to bring the fire. And I thought that was really cool. And I think he will bring the fire. I do. He is, in my mind, one of the inspirational leaders of this team. I know you guys agree with that. He does. He brings the fire. He brings the juice. He straps the team on his back at times, and he'll run through a wall. He'll drag guys with him over the goal line. And I think he knows how much Cleveland needs him right now, how much this team needs him, how much Baker needs him. And he's excited and ready to go. And he actually will bring, some fresh legs, even though he's coming off of a calf injury and he's missed 5 games. I still think there will be sort of an energy about him, which is exactly what this offense needs right now.
I've kind of just been saying this the last few weeks, and this is the Emotions podcast. There's just something wonky with this team. There's just something, it just feels off. And when I look at the schedule and I look at the talent on this team, I can look at it and say this team can go 5-1 down the stretch and make the playoffs. But I can't believe that. For what there's no like hard football reason for me to not believe that, but I just, based on what I've seen over these last few weeks and based on the vibe, even though like we're not in the locker room, so maybe I'm just completely misreading it. I just feel like even if they go to Baltimore and win on Sunday night, it's like, okay, but is it going to be 1 step forward and 2 steps back again? This might just be a year where they end up spinning their wheels a little bit, because it's just, I'm still not sure that it's not a little bit weird.
Yeah, you know what? And we have talked about this. I mean, you're right, Dan. It just has, from the whole Odell Beckham Jr. saga to Baker Mayfield stalking off the field and not talking to the media, to Myles Garrett questioning the game plan and sideline adjustments of his defensive coordinator, to what I perceive to be some bubbling under the surface, little not on the same page situation going on between Baker and Kevin Stefanski right now. It's there. You're right. It's palpable. You can feel it. There's just something that that just is missing in terms of a team that just feels cohesive and has momentum. And part of that is, I mean, when you lose 2 of their last 3 games the way that they have, I mean, well, actually, I keep still thinking that the Detroit Lions game.
They won that, but that's kind of, that feeds into this though. Like,
yes,
that didn't feel like a win, not just from our perspective, but sitting in that room and listening to those guys and hearing those guys talk, it didn't feel like a win.
Yeah, I mean, it was a, what's the opposite of a moral victory? It was an immoral loss. Um, but anyways, so I don't know. I mean, that game to almost lose to a winless Detroit Lions football team with their backup quarterback, it doesn't sit well. It just doesn't sit right. So, they're going to have to dig deep to see if they can come up with and pull together the way that, that, like, my thing is, all of a sudden it happens. The light bulb
Right.
goes off over their head and it all comes together. You're saying that you think of, and I agree with you. I mean, it might not happen. It might not happen at all. And here's the other point about this that I think is vitally important. They don't have a cake schedule the rest of the way. They have a brutal schedule the rest of the way. In fact, it is the toughest schedule of anybody in the NFL in terms of one-loss record the rest of the way. So they don't have any gimmies left. That Detroit game was supposed to be their gimme, right? Everything else from here on out is going to be a heck of a battle. But there's still, I don't know what it is. There's still part of me that thinks, the 2021 Cleveland Browns that we thought they were going to be, they're going to show up. They're going to wake up and they're going to say, we're here. I don't know. I don't know if it'll happen.